Hello everyone and welcome to another video for my Christmas card series, Case Me a Christmas Card. Today I'm going to be showing you how I made this card, which is a case of a card made by my teammate at Picket Fence Studios, Daniel West. So I'm starting with some watercolour paper. I don't know why I use watercolour paper. I think I originally was going to do like a watercolour wash on this. Completely changed my mind. But anyway, that's okay. I'm allowed to do that. Anyway, I'm using this very old woodblock stamp. I believe it's discontinued. It's from Inkadinkadoo. And I think it's called Open Holly Swirl or Open Swirl Holly or something like that. So I'm inking it up with some Versamark ink here, and I'm just going to be placing my watercolour cardstock onto the stamp and just using my fingers to press that in really well, so making sure I keep one hand still so that the watercolour cardstock stays in place, and move the other hand, and if I pull it off you can see absolutely nothing. But I am going to add some white embossing powder. This is my favourite embossing powder from Hero Arts, and just add it all over that panel, and then I'm going to heat that up with my heat tool and melt the embossing powder. So here is the card that I am casing today from Daniel West. He used a completely different technique to me, but he had white outlines with colour around it, and that's what I was going for here. He actually used a stencil and added paper glaze around it, and then he had a white sentiment on a black background, so I did that. But yeah, my background, even though it is still various different colours, he actually did an ombre of dark purple to light purple. I'm using sort of aqua green and pale pink, but yeah, different colours in the background with white lines. So I'm using some Distress Oxide inks to blend on the background. I'm just cleaning up my craft mat here. So I used peacock feathers and what's this? This is worn lipstick. And using my life-changing blender brushes so that I can get a really heavy application right on the edge of the cardstock and then sort of soften it out to the middle. So you'll notice in the middle there's a little bit of an area of very pale colour, so almost to white, because I really didn't want to blend the pink into the green because I would have got some kind of muddy brown. But if you leave a little bit of white in the middle, it just looks like the green is blending into the pink. Now I decided that I wanted there to be a little bit of a white border around my coloured panel. I always like at least a little bit of white space on my cards, so I just cut that down. So the sentiment that I'm going to be using is from one of my new favourite stamp sets that I'm using a lot at the moment. It is the Essential Sentiments set from Waffle Flower, and I have the stamps and the matching dies that I'm going to be using today. So again, I am stamping in Versamark ink onto some black cardstock, and just use a little scrap of black cardstock here. And again, I'm going to be white embossing with the Hero Arts embossing powder. I don't know how I did this because I actually stupidly embossed, added embossing powder onto black cardstock without using powder tool. I'm nuts. But it worked. That was just pure luck. I don't recommend doing that. Always use your powder buddy or embossing powder, whatever you want to call it, tool, to add some anti-static powder, especially when you're using black cardstock. Anyway, I'm adding the dye over the top and just removing that after I've run it through my die cutting machine. And here's my card. So I just took a while actually for me to decide exactly where I wanted this sentiment to go, but I'm just going to add and also decided which colour I wanted to be on the top, whether I wanted it to be pink and green or green and pink, but eventually pink on top won out. I thought the green was looking a little bit darker than the pink, so it looked heavier than the pink, and I didn't want it to look top heavy, so that was my strange logic of deciding which colour was going to be at the top of the card. Anyway, I've taken my sentiment, I've added a whole heap of dimensional adhesive to the back, and I decided I would put the sentiment off centre and slightly to the top. And then, of course, I needed some shine, so I'm adding some iridescent sequins from Picket Fence Studios. These are my new favourite sequins, iridescent moonshine, and just using my little jewel. I'm not quite sure what this is called. It's not called a jewel picker, it's called something else. Little tool that has like a wax end on it to help me move my sequins around. Then I decided it needed a little bit more shine, so out came my Wink of Stella brush, and I just coloured in those open holly leaves with the Wink of Stella to add just a little bit more shine. And then I was done. So thank you very much for watching today. Thank you very much to Daniel for being my guest today. I can't wait to see what he's come up with his card. And yeah, hopefully we'll see you again next time. Bye.